Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the ongoing series of Sekiro Shadows Die Twice, where I'll be narrating the story of Sekiro to let you know the lore while I play through the game. The twist being that I do this at level 1, no upgrades, no skills. We've officially started the Gyobu Arc, even though last episode it ended with me saying we'd be starting the Genichiro Arc. I just kind of completely forgot about the big man on the horse. Alright, let's get started. Ashina's dying. It no longer fights with confidence, it fights with desperation. The soldiers are tense and paranoid. Prisoners are tortured for information. Honor no longer drives command, but instead, it's fear. As we move closer in Ashina, we cross paths with a chained ogre. However, it isn't a monster born in Ashina. It was a man, originally most likely from the west based off of his physical features, that was captured for his great strength. They believe they could weaponize him. The ogre is restrained by heavy chains and is kept alive through cruelty, revealing that Ashina has now begun using inhumane tactics for survival. The ogre fears fire, but soldiers don't use it to kill him. They use it to keep him obedient. It may not be important now, but fire in general in Sekiro plays a very crucial thematic role in the game. It terrifies and tortures, and is used to dominate the unnatural, which will tie a lot into the future. There is a reason as to why his eyes are red, and it's due to the torture and an experimentation he's undergone. But the man responsible for this, we haven't crossed paths with yet. The ogre charges at us with wild melee attacks. Attacks filled with rage with every swing. He's honestly a very simple enemy to battle, as the known consensus is to just like dodge out of the way every time he throws something at us.
I'm just bad.
Regardless, he slams me to the ground so damn hard that it sends us back to the beginning of the game, no joke. Here's where we notice people starting to get sick, and we're introduced to Emma, who informs us that our rebirth with the dragon's heritage comes at a cost. For every death we resurrect from, it increases the sickness around us, called dragon rot. It's pretty much the game telling us we're bad because we're dying a lot, but we'll aid her in finding a cure soon enough. Before heading back, we decide to listen in on a conversation that the two of them are having while Emma studies the sculptor, and he mentions that he sees likeness between her and a man named Dogen. Very important. Anyways, now we head back to spin the block against that troll, but this time we make him keep his hands to himself.
That's not fun.
After the ogre fails to keep us at bay, we move past the broken gate and come across General Tenzin Yamuchi. I totally butchered that, but he's in a wide field. He represents Ashina's standard military command, not chasing the dragon's heritage, but a plug in Ashina's already bleeding land. He's trained, but predictable. Wolf doesn't beat him with strength, but by exploiting his movements and slow charge-ups. And with him out the way, it leads to Gyobu being the last line of defense in Ashina's outskirts.
I don't know why I rolled in front of him to heal. I can't Mikiri counter. Okay.
Before we advance further into the story, we travel down a dark ravine just off the main path, which is easily missable. This area has a sort of symbolic meaning of Ashina's sins being suppressed and hidden. In this deep dark is where we come across the being known as the Headless, which a normal blade cannot cut through. It's honestly the scariest part of the game, but I'm going to make an episode purely for all the Headless and defeating them, so we're just going to run past them for now. We advance further until we come across a small cave to which we hug a wall leading us to the demon bell. No, it doesn't summon demons. It wrings resentment, and when wrung, enemies become stronger as we are choosing to go deeper into suffering. Ringing the bell without understanding its meaning is dangerous both mechanically and theoretically. For backstory, in Japanese folklore, bells are used to call spirits, and ringing some bells can invite misfortune. This bell does exactly that. This side area is meant to teach the player something. Power gained through suffering is still suffering. You can ring the bell, but the game is asking, why would you? This will tie into our second encounter with Genichiro in the future, where he accepts all suffering and torture if it means Ashina's victory. Of course I'm gonna do it. Now that we're back on track, we traverse cliffs and mountains until we hear a silent rumbling, and we learn that the cause of this trembling is the Great Serpent. It's not something that Wolf can fight, and it doesn't test our skill, but our survival instincts. This is the first being that Wolf encounters that isn't seeking power, that's uncorruptible by humans, and isn't part of Ashina's war. It simply exists. It's part of the land's spiritual ancestry, and teaches us that not everything can be solved with a blade. Sometimes, survival means patience and submission. Deeper in the ravine, we find a shrine which we can hide in to avoid being detected by the snake. Unfortunately though, for such a divine being, he's kinda up our ass. So we have to stab him in the eye to give us a chance to make it out alive, which brings us to the sunken valley. The path leads Wolf into a wide battlefield riddled with corpses, broken weapons, and scattered banners. This is where Ashina's war becomes very visible. This battlefield is the final stretch of land before Ashina Castle's outer gate, the last physical barrier between the outside world and Ashina's heart, guarded by the man who needs no introduction. Gyobu is loyal, proud, unafraid of death, and fully aware of Ashina's continuous collapse. He announces himself because he wants the enemy to know who they're being felled to. He fights mounted on a horse with spear in hand. His fighting style is explosive, wide sweeps and thunderous charges. Wolf's style is the complete opposite: precision, patience, and exploitation. Gyobu represents what Ashina was, while Wolf represents what can't be stopped. Okay, wow. Flash step Gyobu. Can't even blame me for that one. That one was you. You just missed. What's going on, Gyobu? Is it old age? I can't see. No. Lucky.
Gyobu. Let's just get it over with. Sorry, I had to end this way.
His unavoidable death represents the end of Ashina's founding spirit. With him gone, Ashina's original ideals die with him. The castle is now less vulnerable, which officially marks the end of this arc. Thank you for watching. I appreciate you if you managed to stay this long. And coming up is the arc of Genichiro. Or Genichiro's arc. But like, actually this time. Appreciate it.